Wow, something's pretty amazing happening to the markets right now because Bitcoin, crypto, and stocks are reacting negatively, right? Which means going down, even though we had very good news happening. We have very good news with CPI, PPI, inflation's coming down. And it's really good because that means the Federal Reserve can cut rates. We've had this over Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, I'm recording this on the Thursday US trading session, and yet stocks, crypto, Bitcoin, they just keep on going down. Why is this happening? Let me show you guys what just happened. Right? The initial jobless claims lower, which is good. You don't want that to be high. We've had core PPI negative, right? Core PPI year on year lower. And this is negative. They were thinking, core PPI goes up 0.3%, but it went down. It went down like 0.1%. It went down. It's like, when do you ever see that? It's like going negative. That's like deflation, right? Then you have PPI for the month of Feb, which is going flat, No inflation when it comes to producer price at all, and year on year PPI also going negative. I mean, what more could you ask for? And yet still the markets are dumping. Why is that? Let me show you guys what happened yesterday. The numbers were even more sensational yesterday. Look at the CPI numbers. More important than the PPI numbers are the CPI numbers. Okay, look at this. Expecting 0.3, core CPI came in at 0.2, right? Core CPI year on year lower, core CPI month on month lower, and CPI year on year lower. Everything was lower. Everything was great, but yet the markets were still dumping. And of course, once again, the answer is because of Trump, right? He tweeted something which was shocking, which tanked the markets once again. But before you get on to that, let me when I explain to you all that is why all of that is happening. That's first answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo use. Well, Pablo uses a crypto exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't have to show your ID. That means the exchange don't even know who you are. That means the IRS can't see you, tax office can't see you, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you, totally private. That's why Pablo love it. Pablo deal with Bitunix, basically over $8,000 worth of newbie prizes just for joining, right? 1.3 million global users ready, the largest non-KYC platform in the world. And basically, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, then the link is in the description below, But if you're on any other platform, then basically just head to my profile page and there's that stand link right there. We click on there and we get to that Bitunix deal right there. But remember, folks, this is basically only on the Pablo link, provided. Okay, let's get back to why the markets are tanking. Look at this. This is basically just came out a few hours ago, right? Kind of like right after when the good news was the PPI inflation came out. And look at this. This is Trump just basically said we're going to retaliate because European Union, which is the largest trading partner of the United States and China, by the way, had just put in a nasty 50% tariff on all whiskey from the US. And, Trump's voters and Trump's donors are, partly those whiskey guys as well, from the Rust Belt, the Wheat Belt. And he says so. He's going to put 200% tariffs, 200% on all wines, champagnes, and alcoholic products coming out of France and other EU countries, so which means Irish whiskey, which means Scotch, which means those French champagnes, French wines. So that's a major blow. That's a major blow to the European economy. And then guess what they're going to do? They're then going to hit back the United States. They're going to hit back and basically say, well, then we're going to pile on a bunch of tariffs on U.S. as well. So that means 200% tariffs on U.S. products could be agricultural exports, could be like gas and oil exports. It could be anything, could be crazy. So that means basically less U.S. exports are going out to the European Union, which is like a major, probably number one export destination for U.S. And then in the U.S., when people try to buy wines, champagne, Scotch, whiskey, whatever, it'll go up 200% in price, something like that. So basically, right now, it's like it increases inflation on the home front and basically reduces American exports with Europe, with Mexico, with Canada, with China, with all of that. I'm not saying I'm against these tariffs or for these tariffs. I don't want to get political here, but that's just how the market is interpreting it. And let's have a look at the market reaction right here. Bitcoin obviously dumped, but as I've been telling you guys, you've been watching my videos at all, you know that Bitcoin dumped because SP500 is dumping. SP500's reaction, right? Those 3 bars since Trump announced that has just basically been going boom, 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 going down, and it's down another 1.4%, 2% for Nasdaq, and 2% for Nasdaq 100. So let's have a quick update of where SP500 is going, because that actually determines where the stock Bitcoin's going. You know what the Bitcoin sell-off recently? Does that look familiar? As I've been saying, Bitcoin was basically just front running the sell-off that was happening on the SP500, the largest stock index in the world. Now, 550 I placed as the level for bounces, and we've had a bounce for 2 days so far, and we're retesting that 550 level already again. See, this is why, because of these pivot high, pivot low, pivot low, pivot high, and it's been tested. This green channel here has been tested once, twice, 3 times. Now, 4th time, and last time I made a video 2 days ago, it actually bounced off this level, but then quickly hit this resistance level again, 565, and boom, down we go. So most folks don't understand why I talk about this, but this is so important for Bitcoin. If SP500 goes back inside this channel rather than bouncing off, that's obviously pretty bad. And if they do go inside this channel, the next support I think is like something like 524, and then the bottom of the channel 511 area. That will take Bitcoin to something like 73K. I cannot see how SPY SP500 ETF goes to there, something like this or this, and Bitcoin doesn't go to 73K. So basically that's the negative development here. But you know what? Why couldn't this be a positive development? Because look at it this way, like I just showed you guys that CPI came down low yesterday. PPI came down really low today, which is a big surprise. And after all of that, you think then the markets would be excited because the Federal Reserve is about to cut interest rates. But no, the Federal Reserve basically says we're not going to cut interest rates. I'll show you guys how this is playing out. Look at this. Okay, so this is the market betting on the chance of a Fed rate cut. Look at this. Right now, it's 1% chance of a Fed rate cut. But you know what? That's not the surprising part. The surprising part was this. Yesterday, it was 2% chance. And a week ago, it was 12% chance. So we've actually gone down 12%, from 12% chance to 1% chance in the last 1 week or so, even though we've had great news. On the inflation front. Inflation's coming down. Jobs are so far still staying strong, right? And yet, the Federal Reserve just refuses to cut rates. And they whenever they do an interview, they say, no, we don't need to cut any rates. We just don't need to cut any rates. American economy is healthy. They keep on saying that. So the market took the chance of them cutting rates by March 19th, which is like Wednesday next week, down from 12%, which was already very low, to like 1% now. That's pretty crazy. And so far right now, as I've been telling you guys, Trump is trying to fake this recession thing, saying, oh, you better cut rates. He's trying to threaten the Federal Reserve, saying, you better cut rates. If you don't cut, the economy's going to crash. We're going to go into recession. And the Fed's like, nah, we're not cutting. And the chance of a Fed cut has now gone to 1%. So Trump's threats didn't quite work with the Fed. But why do I say this? Because he actually, if you've been watching the news at all, he actually tried the same trick with Canada. He does these bluffs, major gambles, major threats. He threatened 50%, so 25% tariffs on US imports of Canadian aluminum, and steel. And Canada fired back. One of the Ontario governors said basically we're going to hike 25% tax surcharge on all electricity exported to like North Dakota or one of those US states. And Trump said, okay, we're going to give you 50% tariffs. Not 25%, but 50%. And then the Ontario guy came and they renegotiated. And then the Ontario guy said, okay, we'll take the threat off the table. And Trump says, okay, we go back to 25%. So it's all this all happened within like 36 hours of each other. It's all these threat upon threat, bluff upon bluff. All of this, this uncertainty is causing markets to drop because markets don't like uncertainty. And also, if these tariffs does go through, then it's markets voting to say that's not good for them. Look, I'm not getting political here and say tariffs are a good thing or a bad thing, but the markets certainly don't like it when there's a lot of tariffs. That's how they're voting right now. And when SP 500 goes down, then Bitcoin. So far we've seen it. Bitcoin just follows, right? I've shown you guys that relationship over my last 3-4 videos. It's very obvious by now. Okay, so for all the Aussies watching, Pablo uses SwiftText, and that link, my SwiftText link, is in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys for next episode.